general admission guests, so if you have an express pass, your wait time will also be 5 minutes.
We can't emphasize strongly enough how important this is. Remain seated and inside the tram at all times while on the tour. We appreciate your cooperation. Thanks so much and enjoy your visit to the world-famous Universal Studios tour.
So you guys are ready to take pictures? You've been hanging around the theme park? Ready to take a picture?
I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, please say it.
Rachel's daughter?
The all-new Runaway Train. The parting of the Red Sea. No telling on stage 70. Stuntmen. There are lots of things to watch out for at Universal Studios, especially the fun.
And all the way down to cars 3 and 4, down to the empty
That red line, please. Make sure you know the number you're standing on. That will be the number of your row. Make sure you all know the number you're standing on. And if you're standing on a 1 or a 2, please let row 1 enter first before row 2. Just a heads up for my friends waiting for the first car. It looks like we have some guests already on board who needed extra physical assistance getting on. So if the seat in your row is taken, don't worry, we're going to get you on the next one. Please wait behind the red line, folks. Again, make sure you know the number you're on. Wait, please wait. All right, all aboard. Let row 1 enter before row 2.
Without Dean, we'd never leave here because it's a 400-acre movie studio. I ain't walking that. Who's never been here before? First time ever. First time over here. And there, a whole bunch. That's awesome. Who has been here before, but it's been like a long time? Hey, welcome back. Very cool. Excellent. Who does this all the time? Oh, we got a few here. Let's see. That's awesome. Now we got a lot to see out there. We're going to be leaving the theme park, going through the movie studio. The tour today is going to last roughly 8 hours. So, I'm joking. 45 minutes. All right, don't freak out. All right, let's make like a treat. Get out of here. Wave goodbye to all those lovely people on the next tour. Bye. Bye. See you. Bye now. Bye. Bye, Magic. Bye. What's going on, y'all? My name is Tim. I'll be your guide today. With us today is the driver, Dean. We also have a co-host of this tour. You may recognize him from The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon. It's Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, hey there! You made it! Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide.
Tim.
And the greatest driver.
Dean.
You're the best. I love that. Even though
Tim
owes me $5.
Bruh.
I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
Yeah, that's right, Jimmy. We do have a few safety rules. First and foremost, if you're in need of assistance of any kind, could be a medical emergency, you drop something of value off the side of the vehicle. If you're having video or audio issues on the tram, just can't wait to use the restroom, anything you need help with. Television that's been filming today, and I'm going to tell you about a lot of it, but there are certain things that I can't talk about. All right? We are a big rental facility for everyone. So every so often, big studios will come out here, whether it's Warner Brothers, Disney, Sony, and Paramount, and make their next movie out here or next television show. And a few of those things I can only hint at, while I cannot tell you explicitly. But I like you guys, so I'm going to tell you as much as I possibly can without losing my job. But before we get into that, I want to point out the theme park itself has been doing a lot of changes. Let's say you haven't been here in like 10 years. Practically the whole theme park is different, right? We have a lot of changes up there. Wizarding World of Harry Potter is less than 10 years old. The Super Nintendo World down the lower lot is about, what, 3 years old, if that. And we're building a roller coaster. That's pretty cool. That is Fast and Furious. Right, they actually, if you go to our Instagram page, it's at Uni Studios. they have pictures taken from the ride vehicles itself. It looks super cool. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to be real with you all. I don't tell all my tours this. I obviously work on a theme park ride. I can't ride those rides. I get really, really sick. So if you see me on that thing, give me some space. All right, but I got to ride it. It looks so cool. I'm very excited for it. That's going to be opening up 2026 just next year. But none of the attractions in the theme park would exist without this one. This is the original attraction for Universal. All the theme parks, us, Orlando, Japan, the new ones are built all around, began with this 61 plus years ago. And of course, the studio tour wouldn't exist without the studio, and the studio wouldn't exist without one man. So every single thing we do and see today is because of a man named Carl Limley. Got Uncle Carl. He's a gentleman popping up on your screens in the bow tie. He's a Bavarian immigrant, moved to the United States, found himself in Chicago. He had a 5 and dime store that had a machine called a Nickelodeon in it. He would put a nickel into it, peer into the box, and it would cycle through a bunch of pictures really fast, motion pictures. It was like a 3 or 4 second movie, and it was the most popular thing in his show. So he decided, you know what, I'm going to start making these motion pictures, and founded Universal Pictures in New Jersey. Yeah, we began out east. But he got tired of all the rain and snow, found his way out west, and founded Universal City on March 15, 1950. And we're still our own city. That's a real fire station to our right-hand side. We have a sheriff's station up on Citywide, medical facilities, and daycare facilities. There's a gym here I don't go to. We got 3 Starbucks and a giant theme park in this town. We got a whole bunch of stuff. Your town has something that we don't, though. I know that for a fact. Some of you might live in a really, really small town somewhere, but your town still has residents. And no one lives here. Rather than having residents, though, Universal City is the workplace for thousands and thousands of movie and television professionals. And most of them work here in the front lot. The front lot is where the headquarters of Universal Pictures is. It's also where the majority of these buildings called sound stages are. Sound stages are these giant warehouse type of buildings that we built to be pretty close to soundproof. The reason for that is the only sound you want to hear is your actor's voice, and it's extremely difficult to get rid of a sound you don't want to hear in the background behind your actor. So you film in a soundproof environment, you don't have to worry about that, and then you can just add in whatever sounds you may need. So left-hand side of Soundstage 12 is the oldest and largest on the property, about 100 years old and 1.4 million cubic feet. And some pretty famous movie sets have been built in there, like Frankenstein's Lab back in 1931. Dracula's Castle was built in there too. Right. So they built the mansion in Scarface. That's from Back to the Future. The Visitor Center in Jurassic Park. Down Whoville, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And even exterior scenes of movies like Hell's Future. Now, a lot of the sound stages we're driving next to are currently rented out by a massive production. I'm not allowed to tell you what it is, which is great because they haven't even told me what it is. Yeah, they're being very, very careful with this one. Now, these sound stages, they're actually using more sound stages than any production I've seen in give or take 12 years. So they're using a lot of sound stages here. But I can tell you there was a Warner Brothers television show that's been being filmed here called Stuart Fails to Save the Universe, which is actually a spinoff of The Big Bang Theory. So the unique thing about this is it's not being made by Universal, it's all being made by Warner Brothers. It's not being aired on our streaming service, it's being aired on theirs, HBO Max. They just needed the space, so they're renting it from us. We work with everyone. In fact, we produce a show on HBO Max called Hacks with Gene Smart. It's an award-winning show. Amazing stuff coming on. They actually just moved back in for season 5. They're actually filming in some sound stages that we recently just finished up a spinoff of The Office called The Paper with Oscar Nunez and Chelsea Fry.
Hi, Studio Tour!
We're here on the lot where we film The Paper, which follows our characters' day-to-day lives as employees of a struggling newspaper, the Toledo Truth Teller.
That's right. Unlike many other TV shows, The Paper uses multiple cameras and a variety of shot types and movements to give our show a true documentary feel.
Because the camera is always around whenever we're on the set, it's important that we stay in character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Oscar, what's your favorite part of working on the lot?
I wasn't expecting you to ask me that question. You know what? I love being around talented, wonderful, hilarious people. I also get to work with Chelsea Fry. How about you, Chelsea? What's your favorite?
Oh, I love waving to the trams.
Oh. Okay. You can probably stop waving now.
No, it's fine. Just try it.
Yeah?
Yeah, just try it. It's great.
So you can see The Paper right now on Peacock, our streaming service, and you can see it on NBC, our network cable, our network channel on the 10th. So they're actually bringing it to NBC. It's a very, very big time of the month for Universal Television. We're doing a lot of shows that are debuting either tonight or later on this week or later this month. In fact, there's a couple of other Peacock shows that have new seasons coming out that film here. Ted being one of them. Ted is a little teddy bear. You have to see him up the road a little bit. And Bel Air fourth and final season coming out later on this month, November 24th. That is a modernized version of The Fresh Prince. But you can see the paper right now, and they actually filmed inside the sound stages we're next to here to the right-hand side. Same soundstage, by the way, that Christopher Nolan did a movie in called Oppenheimer. Yeah, our Best Picture winner. Near the end of the movie, he goes to the White House to talk to the president, played by Sir Gary Oldman. The Oval Office was a set inside the soundstage. Can't film with a real one, but you can build one that looks real. In fact, it wasn't even ours. We took it from Warner Brothers. They used the set for a show called Veep, which only we drive it, so they just took it from them. Rather end up in a soundstage, your movie or television show begins just as an idea inside of one of these spaces. And these belong to a lot of pretty famous people and pretty recognizable people. Snoop Dogg's production company there, Death Row Pictures, there to the left-hand side. Right next to it, complete opposite, Illumination. They brought us Despicable Me, Secret Life of Pets, same Super Mario Brothers movie. Did you see they announced a sequel recently, Super Mario Galaxy, the movie? It's coming out next year. I'm very excited. It's one of my favorite games ever. There's producers out here that work for everyone, like Mark Platt. He does a lot of musicals. He did La La Land for Warner Brothers a few years back. He's done 3 big movies for Universal recently. How to Train Your Dragon, the live-action remake. He's also a producer of Wicked, and has Wicked for Good coming out in just a few weeks. So that's another big thing that's happening this month. And Justin Spitzer has an office out here. He does a lot of television for NBC. He did Superstore with America Ferrera and Ben Feldman. He also has another show working on their 2nd season with David Allen Greer and Wendy McLennan-Covey called St. Denis Medical.
Welcome to St. Denis Medical Center. St. Denis Regional Medical. I have access to some really good stuff, and I will hook you up.
Yeah.
No, man. That was a test. Boom.
We're like the Avengers, you know?
We're not supposed to have favorite patients, but we do.
I almost don't want them to get better.
Pale, kind of blotchy.
It's the other one.
Oh my God, that's much worse. Wow.
So you can see the 1st season on Peacock right now. 2nd season debuts tonight on NBC. And they're actually filming another episode right now inside these sound stages we're next to. That being said, if we come around the side of the building and I see a spinning red light, that means they're actively recording. I gotta be off this microphone really quickly. So hold, 1 second, pause, hold, and the verdict is they're not filming. We're good. Now, you have the inside of their hospital inside that soundstage. The outside of their hospital isn't even connected to it. It's a completely different set they have built inside these Metropolitan sets. And this is going to be the first set you see in the backlot today. The backlot's where we do the big stuff, the large exterior scenes for our productions. And the first thing we're going to do is go visit a big buddy of mine named King Kong, King Kong 363D.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. Action! I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up in the adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. What kind of places? So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
Oh, and we are in for an adventure, y'all. Please remain seated, arms and legs of the vehicle. Hold on tight to your belongings. This is one of the locations I can't get out. And feel free to take picture and video throughout the tour. Just turn on the flash. Flash doesn't help your photos, just blinds every single person around you, especially in dark areas like this. Not only that, Skull Island is home to some rather angry animals, so we don't want to make them any more angry than what they already will be. In fact, let me show you what those animals look like.
The Universal Tram is winding its way through a very rough, narrow trail in Skull Island, allowing the visitors a little sneak peek at some of the wildlife of Skull Island.
And as you can see, these animals, they're big, they're mean, they got a lot of teeth. So keep your arms and legs in the vehicle and hold on to your loved ones, like your cell phones and stuff, because I can't get out of here. Welcome to Skull Island.
The island. Nobody's lived here for hundreds of years. We're so sure.
is King Kong 360 3D. All right. Now, as we pull out of the building, Mr. Peter Jackson, a created by a company in New Zealand you'll found called Weta Digital, known as Weta Effects. They are a visual effects company. They were founded in part by Peter Jackson to do work for his movies. And they worked on every single one of them, but they've also worked on every big movie in the last 25 plus years. They've won 7 Academy Awards for that kind of work on King Kong and Lord of the Rings trilogy, all Peter Jackson, but also Disney's The Jungle Book and James Cameron's Avatar and Avatar The Way of Water. So you definitely see something that they have done up on the big screen. Now, most of the work that Weta Digital does is entirely with a computer. The computer-generated imagery, CGI, has changed the game of the type of movies and movie scenes we can do. But they also want to film out here and then change it with a computer if they have to. But you can also physically change these buildings. A lot of these buildings, they have nothing on the inside of them. They're just facades, meaning false fronts, right? You can see how skinny a lot of these buildings are out here. We're not worried about what's inside of it. We're worried about the streets here in the back lot. If you want to go inside of one of these buildings, you'll build that as a completely different set, probably inside of a soundstage. And all the brick and stone out here is a thin sheet of plastic or fiberglass. So if you don't like the look of it, you can peel it off, put up something else up. But usually it's not about changing the buildings as it is about adding things to the streets. For instance, just last week, this entire area was turned into maybe 1900 certain city, I don't know what I'm not allowed to tell you, and they covered the entire roads with dirt, and it had horse-drawn carriages out there. That's the kind of stuff that you can do. We could do that in your hometown. We would just have to close down pretty much your entire town for a month. We don't want to do that. We want to do that out here. We don't need to worry about it. You can also blow these things up if you want to. Michael Bay did for Transformers. When the Decepticons are trying to get the Allspark from Bumblebee at the end of the movie, they're blowing up the streets of the metropolitan set. It's not Los Angeles. You also have Fate of the Furious, Hobbs and Shaw filmed out here. It's a couple of the Fast and Furious movies, racing cars all over the place, running into the buildings. And I would say it's kind of difficult to recognize these and most things because they change it so much. Oh, you can actually see they have a little bit of the dirt left from that production. There's the left-hand side. If you want to recognize these, though, pretty easily, watch American Ninja Warrior on NBC. It's a competition series that films here, and they don't change the buildings. They just build a giant obstacle course down on New York Street. Now, that's just one competition series that films here. There's another that actually films every single episode here and a couple of sound stages directly in front of us. It's The Voice on NBC.
Hey there, Studio Tour. I'm Snoop Dogg from The Voice. We tape our show right here in stage 30 and 31 in the heart of the Universal Backlot. These state-of-the-art sound stages allow us to bring every round of our show to life, from the blind auditions to the live finale, and everything in between. Make some noise!
We know what America wants.
Prima socks, baby!
Yo, now, you can see the underwear I'm wearing.
You can see season 20 of The Voice right now on NBC, Mondays and Tuesdays, following day on Peacock. And Reba McEntire does another show right next to us called Happy's Place.
Hey there, I'm Reba McEntire, and welcome to Happy's Place. We shoot our heartfelt comedy right here on the Universal Lot. Now, unlike most TV shows, we are a multi-camera sitcom, meaning several cameras capture every scene from a different angle, all at the same time. Each episode takes about a week to make, from the first read-through of the script to rehearsals to taping in front of a live studio audience. And let me tell you, every step is a blast. Enjoy the ride, and we'll see you at Happy's Place. I'm starting to sweat. The men are the ones who's supposed to ask the women out. That hasn't been true for 30 years. I haven't dated in 30 years.
Happy's Place, Friday on NBC and you can see the second season this Friday, so they're coming back too. It's been very fun to see Reba McEntire and how busy she is working on those new sound stages. Now, those are only a couple of years old, and we have even newer ones further in the back of the studio. We're kind of in the middle of a large expansion, right? We're building more, we're trying to keep up with the needs of the industry, and we're really the only studio that can do that, and that's because of our size. I mentioned earlier how we're a 400-acre movie studio. In comparison, the second biggest studio is Warner Brothers. They're half our size. So we have all this land, and that allows us to keep on building more and more and keeping up. And they've run out of space, so if they want to come over here, they often do. And that's actually because of the Great Depression. And during the Great Depression, a lot of movie studios downsized or sold their land entirely, and they pretty much had to because nobody was going to see movies. We didn't have to because people were watching our movies, the monster movies. Yeah, like Dracula and Frankenstein. And not only did those movies film here, they filmed exactly here, in these sets called Little Europe. Now these are even older than that. 1 year prior to our first movie Dracula, or our first monster movie Dracula, we did a movie here called All Quiet on the Western Front, our first Best Picture winner. Even 102 years ago, there was a movie made here called The Hunchback of Notre Dame with Lon Chaney Sr. I do think, though, some of you might recognize this set not as Europe, but as The Good Place and The Good Place with Ted Danson and Kristen Bell.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife. Come on.
Also, beware the sun at the top of the hill.
Yes, you're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Okay, well, maybe it's not all that bad.
Hi there. How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
Now, here's what I'm going to say about The Good Place. Please understand, though, my opinion about movies and television shows is just that. It is my opinion. You may not share my opinion. You may not agree with my opinion. You're just forced to listen to it because I got a microphone. The Good Place is the greatest show ever made. It's so good. I love it so much. It used to be on Netflix, but they moved it to Amazon Video, if you've been looking for it. It's 4 seasons, 30-minute episodes. It's funny, it's smart, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll binge watch 4 seasons. It is very, very good. The entire show was planned ahead of time and has one of the most beautiful endings to a television show ever because Michael Schur, the creator of it, pretty much wrote everything ahead of time and then they filmed it because of it. Mike Schur also created other shows you may know, like Parks and Rec, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and The Office. So if you like any one of those shows, I guarantee you're going to like The Good Place. It is so good. Well, let's say you've never seen one of those, you want to try it out. I think it's worth checking out because within 10 minutes of the first episode, you'll see Little Europe, what we just drove through. Right? That'll be cool. You see a location of the studio tour. But the more you watch it, you're going to see a lot of the studio. That's for any television show that films here, by the way. Like Reba McEntire said in her video, we want to film 1 episode in 1 week. That is a good goal. That doesn't leave us a lot of time to pick stuff up and move outside the studio. I call that on-location filming. That's 1 hour in 1 week. That's a really good goal. And we're not even getting that. We're getting like 30 minutes of 1 week. Movies, if you think about it, it's about was actually a stunt. An actor jumped from a train platform, grabbed on the top of a subway train, and it pulled away. They could do that with a real one, but 1, it's unsafe, and 2, it was going to cost them so much money. Because if you think about it, you can't just rent out 1 train station. You have to rent out the entire line, because you're going to block that line with the train every single time you try to film. So it was actually easier and cheaper, less expensive, for them to build this entire set and use an old tram wrapped up to look like a subway train. They were able to do it practically. Again, no physical or no computer effects. The actor did it safely, did it quickly, and we were able to add it to our studio tour since it was built specifically for our transit bullets. We have rented this out to other productions. This was seen as a subway station in Bones with Emily Deschanel and David Boreanaz. There was also an Eddie Murphy movie called Beverly Hills Cop 3 that used this as a theme park attraction. The big climactic ending of the movie is inside of a theme park, and they turned this into an alien invasion ride that they have a shootout in the middle of. Now this is rented out a little bit less than the exterior accessory. Oh, hold up. Now please remain seated and hold on tight your belongings. That could be a tremor, but it could also be an earthquake. That is an earthquake. All right, well, they only last 3 seconds. Just please remember. Oh, no. We're live. We're good. We will provide earthquakes of the that's a practical effect. Right? No computers, right in front of the camera. That's also a giant mechanical effect. It's a machine because, right, Christopher Nolan's going to crash subway trains and blow up buildings. He's not going to have his cast and crew right inside of it, though, right? He's going to film that from far away. But we're able to be really close to it because it is a machine. We know exactly where the danger ends. We know we can be safe. That also allows us to do it again. When Christopher Nolan's blowing up buildings, he's got to do that once, right? He better get it right, and he often does. But if we want to redo it, we can use a mechanical effect, so that way we can film it again. We call that take 2, take 3, take 185. One time's enough. Now, y'all, we're about halfway done with our tour at this point. This is just a reminder, though, if you need my assistance, please remember the red emergency cord hanging above your head. Give that thing a pull. I'll be back to help you. After a fake earthquake, I think we all need a break. So I say let's head to the beach of Amity Island. Now, Amity has been closed for a few days because they found a shark. But guess what? They caught the shark. I think they want to open up the beach before the sun goes down. It's not quite open yet, so just please remain seated. I gotta find my buddy George. He's a police officer. See if he's going to open up the beach for us. You can see the shark they caught there on the right. That's George's boat. I don't see George, though. What, is he in the water? Whoa, that's a big shark. Okay, say the tram. This thing is huge, dude. I hope George is in the water. Oh, he's in the water. George, shark, it's right in front of you. You see it? George? You okay? He's fine. Teeny's dead. He's super dead. Okay, everyone. We're gonna park over here next to the barrels of gasoline. That's fine. We have to call George's wife and insurance company. Now we have bait attached to that yellow barrel out there. Hopefully it takes it's a whole pot. Teeny took the whole thing. Wait, is that gasoline? Hey, don't touch the gasoline spraying all over the place. Don't touch that. That's not the. Oh, that's horrible. Yikes. Okay. Why is it doing it? Alright, don't panic, everyone. Just stay safe. We gotta call the fire department out here. They're gonna take care of this. Everything is perfectly safe. We're just gonna leave. You're gonna need a bigger tram. Congratulations, everyone. You survived Bruce the shark. Good old Bruce. Yeah, I'm gonna hang at the window. Don't tell my boss. Hi. How's it going? I got a question for y'all. If you know the answer, yell at me. I'll hear it. What kind of shark is that? What is Bruce? What is he? Nice. Plastic. He's plastic. No, you're right. It's a plastic great white shark. Our plastic great white shark works a lot better than the one that Steven Spielberg used, though. His shark worked so poorly, they postponed the release of the movie. Literally, they were still working on it. It was originally supposed to come out Christmas Day in 1974. Back then, studios really only wanted to release their big movies on the holidays because they thought people took off work, they took off school, they went to the movies, it was successful. And it was true, it was very successful and still is to this day. They didn't want to postpone Jaws an entire year for the next holiday, so they postponed it to summer, thinking, well, at least kids are taking off school, maybe they go to the movies. They did, and it became the biggest movie ever made. So now we release movies in the holidays and in the summer. Jurassic Park, for instance, came out the same week of June in '93 that Jaws did in '75. And he used a lot of similar techniques. He didn't have to worry about the ocean like he did for Jaws, but he did have to create a tropical rainstorm for Jurassic Park, because you're not going to film a real one, you're going to create one. And we're going to show you how we did that here in Old Mexico. We're going to have a little thunderstorm pop up. Now, typically you wouldn't hear thunder on set. You want it to be super quiet and only record your actor's voice, but there's no actors out here, and we want you to be able to record everything, so we're going to have our own sound effects of thunder right here on set. Maybe, possibly. Maybe, possibly. Is it going? Is it not going? It's not doing anything. Hello? Action? Maybe, possibly. Is it going? There it is. Now, thunder would be added after the fact, but all the effects are right here, including lightning, big strobe light. And now's a perfect time of day because it's still bright out, but we don't have direct sunlight. Now I'm going to turn on the rain effects. Ta-da! Just like that, he got a rainy day. Now, we get this rain by using a super high-tech, sophisticated system that we call sprinklers. That's all it is. As long as the sprinklers are above the camera, this thing looks pretty good. Now, you're going to see a lot of gaps between the sprinklers. When you're making a movie, you have one camera, and you can place the camera where you see no gaps, so that way you don't need to use a lot of water. But since we have a whole bunch of cameras on the road, I'll turn on the rest of the sprinklers and get rid of the gaps. Or not. What is going on with this thing? Oh, let me just pump it up. I'm just gonna turn it up until it shows up. Oh, wow, I broke that, didn't I? Just hold your breath. Oh. Don't worry, all not a flood. About 10,000 gallons of water there. Release your giant tank to the top of the hill, just like this scene, the movie Big Fat Liar. Paul Giamatti, Amanda Bynes, and Brent Guinness.
You cannot run a wolf, kid! You know, we'll see about that.
You can also see our flood in a couple of music videos, and songs Palomos by Enrique Iglesias and Judas by Lady Gaga. Both have music videos that filmed in our flood. This part of Old Mexico was Mexico and Nacho Libre, starring Jack Black. It's also the pirate city of Tortuga and Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl. So a lot of our favorite movies use the same set, but we don't recognize it. That's for multiple reasons. One, we're not paying attention, right? So you can see the same set multiple times and we don't really see it. Two, they just change it so much. Or three, enough time has passed that we don't recognize it. In fact, these sets have been used in thousands of movies. Most of them were silent westerns, though, because these are also quite old. This is called 6 Points. And during the silent film era, you could make a movie really close to another one because you didn't have to worry about sound. As long as you don't turn your camera and see a different movie being made, the illusion was kept intact. So 6 Points is actually designed to film 6 movies at a time out here. And they often did. They would make hundreds of silent westerns every single year while they were out here. Now, we don't make westerns as much as we used to, but these are still being used. In fact, they were used as a western set in 2 movies recently. One's an A24 movie called Maxine with Mia Goth. It's kind of like a horror trilogy that spanned a few years. They use it pretty much as a Universal Studios. And before that, Quentin Tarantino did a Sony picture out here called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Leonardo DiCaprio. There's about 45 minutes of the movie that take place in a movie studio on set of a Western that was all done here in 6 Points. Both are super cool, and I encourage you to check them both out. Just keep in mind they are both extremely rated R. Keep that in mind. But even Steven Spielberg made a movie out here. It's called The Color Purple. The dress shop that opens up at the very end of the movie was one of the sets out here at 6 Points. So Steven Spielberg has worked all over Universal. His career spans well past Jaws even. Jaws was just his first big hit. It was his second feature film, but prior to that, he had worked here for practically 10 years doing stuff like, you know, made-for-TV movies, nighttime television, commercial directing. That's pretty much the work that he did that got him the movie Jaws. And then after it, wow, he worked with everyone, including continued to work here at Universal. He did some big hits for us like E.T., Jurassic Park, Schindler's List, the Best Picture winner, literally at the same time as Jurassic Park. And that's just in the first 20 years after Jaws, and he's done amazing stuff since. But since then, we have now named this road Steven Spielberg Drive, which is the longest road in the studio. It's also where our Jaws location is located, which even he worked on that as well. Right after he was done working in the movie Jaws, he worked at the studio tour to make sure we could drive through Amity Island less than a year after the movie came out.
The Jaws ride was almost the inevitable result of the size of the box office when Jaws first opened in June of 1975. And that was really the first time I ever got involved in the creation of a ride. It was a great honor to be invited into a creative circle of tremendous designers at Universal that were trying to figure out how to replicate what the movie had done to audiences in a real way by building a physical shark that would come out of the water and terrify tourists as they were sitting in the tram. And the most amazing thing about the Jaws ride is it is exactly as it was from the time it was first placed on the Universal lot. There have been tweaks, of course, over the years, but it is essentially what the designers and myself all envisioned and created. I'm done bashing the shark. Thank you, Jaws, for everything you've done for me. But I will say, consistently, the shark did work much better on the tour than it did in the Atlantic Ocean in 1974.
And they did film in the real ocean. Filming in the ocean is extremely difficult to do, and I'm pretty sure Steven Spielberg never filmed in the ocean ever again because of it. He also filmed in real neighborhoods of Martha's Vineyard, which is pretty common, right? Filming in a real neighborhood. But television uses the same locations over and over and over again. So they typically don't film in real neighborhoods. They film in residential sets that we have here and then just reuse them over and over again. A great example of the difference is if we're making a movie about your life, we could probably film in your real neighborhood, right? We'll be there for a few weeks and we move on. A television show about your life would need your house and all your neighbors' houses for years. So we'd film it on Colonial Street there to the left and just pretend it's your neighborhood. Colonial Street's been there for decades. That was The Burbs of the Burbs with Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher in the 1980s. Plus a new television show we're doing with Keke Palmer. It's where Casper lived in the movie Casper, Christina Ricci. It was Nellyville in Dilemma with Nellie and Kelly Rowland. People all around the world recognize it as Wisteria Lane and ABC's Desperate Housewives. But their parents being recognized as the home to the Cleavers, the Leave It to Beaver, the Munsters of the Munsters. If you watch the World Series, the Wayfair commercial that played during the World Series is on our Colonial Street. It's also where Ted and Johnny live in Seth MacFarlane's show Ted. Take a look.
Let the festivities begin.
How many we got?
Well, let's see. We got 20 cartons.
Fantastic.
Do you think we're getting too old for this?
Oh, come on, Johnny, we're doing a public service here. If a kid leaves the house in a less than stellar Halloween costume, he's got to get the bad news before he makes a fool of himself all over town. We're Samaritans.
Y'all, I know that's a teddy bear. That show is not for children. You would find that out very quickly. And when I was a kid, though, Jurassic Park was like my favorite thing. I had a toy T-Rex from Jurassic Park, a little Jeep car from Jurassic Park. They would fight. Made no sense, but it was super fun. So you could probably guess, if those were my favorite toys, why this is one of my favorite areas to point out. These are what we call picture cars. Any vehicle you see in a movie or television show, including the Jeep from Jurassic Park that I had as a toy. Now, if you're a fan of cars, especially Fast and Furious, have your cameras ready. You're going to want to get your photos. Now, as you grab your photos of these cars, just letting y'all know we got about 10 to 15 minutes left of our tour. So once again, a reminder, if you need my assistance, remember the red emergency cord hanging above your head. Give that thing a pull, be back to help you, otherwise remain seated with their arms and legs inside the vehicle. I also want to make sure that everyone stays in the vehicle in this area specifically, not because it's necessarily dangerous. There was just a lady named Marion Crane reported missing over here. She was last seen checking into cabin number 1 of the Bates Motel. Yeah, welcome to the iconic Bates Motel and Psycho House from Alfred Hitchcock's hit thriller, Psycho. All the construction in front of the motel here, behind it, and Wire Hollywood sign in front of us, this is leftover sets for Halloween Horror Nights. The final evening was, well, last night. It was about 12 hours ago. It'll be back next year if you guys are interested. But at the top of the hill here is the original Psycho House. This set was built in 1959 for the 1960 movie. It's been here in the studio lot ever since. It's moved around the studio over the years, but in 1985 it found its permanent home up here. Norman came home early. That is not good. All right, do me a favor. Norman Bates lives here with his mom, runs a motel. Just don't look him in the eyes. I'll talk to him. Norman, hey, sorry about the motel. Didn't think you'd be home yet. Hey, have you seen Marion Crane? You know, the lady that checked into your... never mind. Dean, he's got a knife. Just keep going. Oh, he's walking towards a tram. Oh, that's not... I think everyone in car 4 is dead. Oh, that's not good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Nope, they're good. Whew, that was close. You know what? He's a little upset. Let's just hang out in his backyard instead. Welcome to the massive 747 crash site from Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. It's a Paramount picture starring Tom Cruise, Dakota Fanning, and Justin Challen. That also features that real 747 that was completely destroyed, not by a crash, but by the crew, just for this set. Here to tell us a little bit more about the concept behind this set is Steven Spielberg, the movie's production designer, Rick Carter.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Steven had.
You first get to sit down and talk about the War of the World. I thought, what if the 747 goes down, right? And it's not in it. Because it's just something you don't see.
You don't do it. This is the one that puts you right, okay? Down close.
Bobby, get in. Get in. And outside of what we just saw on the screens, you only see this set in the movie for maybe 3 more minutes. That is it. That is a lot of work for not a lot of movie. But Steven Spielberg knows that's going to be enough, right? He learned that with the shark in Jaws. He barely had footage of the shark because it wasn't working, but what he did show us kind of puts the idea of the shark on our mind that carries forward for the rest of the movie, the rest of our lives, for some of us. It does the same thing with the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, the same thing with the plane crash in this movie. It's using our own imagination to tell the story. And there's a similar style of filmmaking coming from a newer director here named Jordan Peele, who's here to tell us about his set from his 3rd movie, Nope.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Planet, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Juke Park. Over there, look into the Winking Well, and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Sheriff. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Well, I do. A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. It's not looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy of a gold rush frontier town lies a sinister secret. It is smack dab in the center of a UFO hotspot. What's a bad miracle?
Oh, what is this?
Welcome to the world of no.
Are we losing power? Just remain safe. Yeah, nope. They're not there. If you haven't seen Nope, you gotta watch. Watch all three of Jordan Peele's movies. He's done Get Out, Us, and Nope so far at Universal. Each one of those is a unique standalone horror thriller, all wrapped around their own theme. The cast are great. Every movie that he has directed has also used more of the studio than the movie prior to it. So Get Out didn't film at all here. It was all in Georgia. And then Us filmed a little bit more. And then Nope even more than that. So I'm hoping his fourth movie is just like everything. Including this giant blue wall up here on the right-hand side. This color blue and bright green do not appear in anyone's skin tone, so a computer can select that and replace it. This is called Falls Lake because it also has a giant basin in front of it that you could fill with water. It's currently got a bunch of trucks parked in it, but a lot of water scenes and a lot of big movies have filmed here in Falls Lake. Top Gun Maverick, what Tom Cruise filmed out here. Inception and Dunkirk for Warner Brothers, what Christopher Nolan filmed out here. And hopefully Jordan Peele one day. I think it's a perfect set for him to use. And also, I hope you're out here, right? Because a lot of people that make movies here started as a guest on a studio tour. Jordan Peele was here all the time as a kid, and now he's got his own set on the same studio tour that he loved. And even Steven Spielberg, his first experience with Universal was when he was a teenager on a tour.
My entire career began with my relationship with Universal Studios just as a high school kid on a tour bus. Remember, in those days, there weren't trams, there were buses called the Gray Line Tour Bus. And I was so excited and thrilled to be on the lot. This is my first time ever on a movie studio lot. And during a bathroom break, I hid in the bathroom, and when everybody left to get back on the bus, I waited another 15 minutes until I'm sure the bus left, and then I had the entire lot to myself that day. And in those days, movie lots were so crowded because all movies were made on film lots. Today they're made all over the world, on locations, but most of it was focused in those days, in the 60s, on the film lots. So nobody noticed me when I was going around from soundstage to soundstage, and I really felt, in my own young way, I owned the lot and had the most amazing day of my life.
And I'd say it was a pretty amazing career that followed it. So I hope the same thing happens for you. And no, don't sink on the tour. That was the 60s. But I do hope today inspires you to come back and make a movie one day. And please remember, it's not just acting and directing. There's so many jobs that you can do, hundreds of people, a little city of people that it takes to make a movie or television show. And I hope it happens to you, whether you're a little kid or a big kid. But if it does end up being you, I have a slight request. I want you to walk off the set of whatever you're making, find a trams as we drive on by, give us a nice wave and smile. And I want you to shout out, my favorite tour guide's Tam. No, regardless though, whatever brings you back here, make it a movie, watch a movie, or writing a movie. We hope you have a great day today and hope to see you again very, very soon. But y'all, that is going to conclude the movie studio tour for this afternoon. We're going to get you all back in the theme park at this point. Thank you so much for coming out to the studio tour. And a special thanks to our annual pass holders on board. It's always nice seeing familiar faces on the tram. If you also want to become an annual pass holder, it's very simple. You take your ticket to the Universal box office, the big tall tower in the center of the park. We'll show you how you can extend your ticket into an annual pass and then come back throughout the year. Also, if you haven't already downloaded the Universal Studios Hollywood app, I do encourage you to do so. It's going to help out for the rest of your day. It'll confirm that we're open tonight until 6 p.m. Gives you show times for Waterworld, the wait times for the rides and attractions, mobile food ordering on the app, plus a whole lot more. If you do have any questions, though, or you just want to say hello, I'll be available once we exit the tram. Once again, my name is Tim. I look like this. That'll be me. I'd love to chat with you. And if you're interested to purchase or watch any Universal movie you saw or heard about at the tour, go to the website on your screen there, upag.com. Stands for Universal Pictures Home Entertainment. It's a great resource to start off with. Once we come to a full complete stop around the corner, one of our studio tour ambassadors will be over to open up the door for us. Until then, just remain seated. Once that door is open, please watch your step off the tram. Make sure you have all of your personal belongings gathered up with you. And those 3D glasses, we do ask you to put those and only those in the blue and silver bins, which you have to walk by once we exit the tram. On behalf of driver Dean, myself, your tour guide Tim, and everyone here at the studio tour, I hope you enjoyed yourself out there, but now you're going to have a fantastic rest of your night at Universal Studios Hollywood. As we say in the movies, though, y'all, that's a wrap. How do